What's going on, everybody in the ILLUVIUM world? That's right, it's your boy, Kid Roller, back with another video covering ILLUVIUM Beyond. Now, I've been having a lot of fun collecting all these wonderful PFPs and all these accessories and messing with it and trying to flip it, and I've done a few things here and there, but yeah, ultimately I'm a collector. I can't help it. But I did buy 12 discs, and that's what this video is going to be about today. So I'm going to pop these 12 discs, and then after that, I'm going to be covering a video 9 months ago where they were talking about land and how it works and their vision for it and all that good stuff. And of course, you know me. Well, some of you might not know me, but you will learn. I got always something on my mind I need to get off that I'm thinking, brainstorming on, and where I can see this to go, and I would like to cover that. So let's go ahead and jump into popping these discs. Hopefully I can get something cool, good, and I'm trying to flip these discs ultimately to buy land. So that's where we're going. So let's go ahead and jump into these discs right here. And if you look, I've got 12 of these bad boys. And if I can get at least one good thing, I will be super, super excited. So anyway, let's go ahead and load disc number 1. Now, if I could get something for, it's kind of like going to the racetrack or the casino. If I can hit that first one, then the rest of them, they just suck. You're like, oh well, screw it. I hit on the first one. It sucks when you get to that last one and finally hit something. If I could even maybe potentially hit something. So let's see what we get here. Now, I'm just going to reveal all. I'm not too big on clicking one at a time because I want to blast through these bad boys. Oh, shoot, a rainbow piercing. Oh, nice. These both look pretty good. So I think I did pretty good on this one. We'll definitely have to check into those. But this rainbow piercing is a stage 3. So that right there was worth it in itself, baby. Let's load up another disc. And let's get to popping. So that's a good start. Definitely feel like we're on the right track. I kind of bought a bunch of random. Ooh, I screwed something up, but it went through, so we're gonna go ahead and do it anyway. So maybe I get that Ramfire or Rinfire, whatever the heck that thing is called. But apparently that is the sought after card that a lot of people don't have. And let's reveal all. We got a gold ILLUVIUM badge. Kind of a bust for the most part. Definitely didn't. Also, I bought a little pro tip that you can do on these is if you go to the aftermarket and buy a disc, usually you can pick them up for about $1 cheaper to $1.50 cheaper because people went ham and bought a whole bunch of discs and, well, they didn't pop them. And now they're just trying to get some of that money back, and that works out for me because I'm a cheap SOB. And I will be trying to scratch all them dollars that I can. So, number 3. Oh, I accidentally clicked one. We got a bow tie. I think that's like 35 cents and a bunch of doo-doo. Okay, so that one was a bust. So far, the first pack is definitely coming in clutch for me. Also, one thing I want to see these guys do with, trying to continue to motivate people to buy disc and continue down this path for another 67 days that we got left on this run is, what is the motivation at this point for people to continue to buy or upgrade their cards and all that good stuff? Nothing. So that's pretty much another bust. I mentioned in my previous video, and if you hadn't watched it yet, I kind of cover a little bit more of my thought process on the ILLUVIUM Beyond and where I'd like to see it go. I think if they had that burning mechanism where you could trade in 10 clown noses to get the next level, or 20 of them, 50 of them, I have no idea. So many people get so much junk through this and they're selling them for on the cheap. I think stacking them right now might not be too bad. A confident, relentless Zephyrix stage 3. So I think that dude's maybe like $8. I can't remember what that dude's worth. But anyway, that's good. That paid for the pack right there in itself. I know that for sure. At least I'm pretty sure. And if not, at least it was a decent pull. So happy about that. I will definitely have to figure that out. So yeah, so far so good. I mean, I gotta admit though, for these being standard packs disc, that you know, they're not just completely bust every time. Like you get like collecting football, baseball, basketball cards where you just get nothing. At least you get something in there. Uh-oh. Hey, that's a basic cigar. I have not pulled one of them yet. I don't know what they go for, but probably a couple bucks. This is a good, probably stage 2 background, and I feel like this is probably going to be a 4 or 5 stage tier background on this Axon, and he's a stage 2 card, so I think that's going to be awesome. Yeah. So far doing pretty good. Pretty happy with these pulls, at least I think. I don't know, I haven't been doing this long enough to be like, oh yeah, that's worth $20, that's worth $2. I know clown noses are less than a penny now, so can't really go right with that. But I think if they had a burning mechanism, or if they upscaled it to where you could say you take 10 clown noses, mint them into one, and it makes it a 3% modifier, something of that nature, to burn a lot of these cards, kind of raise the price of everything. And that's going to be a bust. Oh, need to do that. But yeah, that's, I think they're gonna have to do some kind of burning though, just to motivate people to continue down this road. All right, so we got 5 discs so far left. We're doing good. I feel like right now I'm probably at a break even, and I don't know, I was looking at the chart earlier and it's kind of on a big downtrend, so you can tell everybody's funds are being exhausted and they're not buying discs. They've kind of bought the hollows and everything they need in their collection to be a top tier for whenever the chart list comes out. And you know, everybody's fighting to be on that top. Nice. Virtuous Florinks. So that's probably like $1. I don't know. Kind of bust on that, I feel. So we're not doing too good now. We're on the down slope. But it would be cool to pull something epic right now. We need that strong card. We need like that tier 5 accessory or something to pay for all these packs. Which I think I bought around $6.80. Give me something good. All right, we're gonna change it up this time. We're gonna go right to left. Here we go. Got a bow tease eye. Ooh, silver sunglasses, nice. Silver replica coins. Earth Dookie. And a teeny T. So it's not very good. I think that's the first silver sunglasses I've gotten though. That's pretty good. Happy to see something new anytime, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me know, what is your most epic pull? I think I had the in my video where I had the Big Daddy gold pimp chain that I pulled and sold it for like $100 or something like that, and that's how I bought all these packs. So right now it's not looking good for the home team though to buy more packs, because I'm gonna be broke after this. Okay, we got 2 left. They need to give me something good. Give me that good. And I want to know how much money you guys have actually spent. I've probably dropped 150 bucks, something like that. And I pulled a hollow card of a tier 1 or tier 0. So, all right, we got another rainbow piercing. That's cool. Hopefully those pull at least a small premium. That'd be great. All right, guys, last disc. I don't think I got my, oh, crap. I don't think I got my money's worth here, boys. That's all right, because, you know, I got a lot of stuff, got a lot of my collection going on, and I can't complain. So hopefully like I said before, if they make it to where your rank is a certain level with your Illuvium Beyonds, maybe they'll give discounts on land, or, you know, it would be neat if you could take your clown noses and all your low level stuff and trade it for fuel in the game. So that's another potential thing that they could do. And rip the dream, boys. So that's pretty much it right there. That's all my disc. Sad face. Get more disc. I think I could buy one more. Yes, I'm gonna buy one more. Lucky 13, right? Lucky 13. Let's do it. So anyway, you can look at here. If you go to their main where you buy the disc, they got 71 days left. 0.005 ETH currently going for $8.85, and 0.024 ETH at $44 for the mega disc. Ain't big ballin' to be buying them mega discs. So I will go to this marketplace, and this is what I've been doing to buy my disc, and I highly recommend it. You can save a little bit of money. $7.43. We're gonna go ahead and get this one right here. I did buy some the other day for like $6.50, so that was kind of nice. So see, right now, if I had some of those, then I could for sure save a little bit of money. All right, let's get to this last disc here, boys and girls. Here we go. Confirm. Did I just waste $7.50? Here we go. Drum roll. All right, you little space crab. Give me something. Give me the extra juju. Give it to me. Bunch of junk. All right, well, that's that. But anyway, that was fun nonetheless. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So let's go ahead and get into this next little part here. Go ahead and kill this music, where they talk about land benefits and perks. I'm going to give my thoughts on it as well.
Land. And this graphic kind of gives people an idea of how Illuvium land and the fuel and even the game we're talking about, Illuvium Zero, fit into the overall economy of Illuvium. And I think it's really important to highlight this, because this is one of the most innovative parts about Illuvium, is this tokenomic system and how land fits in. But can you just give us a run through on this infographic on how all of this works and where land fits in to the Illuvium economy?
Absolutely. So first thing is participating in the sale in on June 2nd. That's where you can purchase your land NFT. Once you purchase the NFT, that's when you can jump into the Illuvium Zero game.
So that's another thing. If you own land, you can get into the beta access to get on your phone and actually check out, what do you call it? Oh my God. Illuvium.
It's going to be starting roughly 3-4 weeks
Illuvium
after
Zero.
the land sale.
And
on that land, as you just mentioned, you want to go through and start creating different structures. It's all based around creating the most efficient, the most efficient gameplay that you can. You need about 20 to 30 minutes a day to optimize the most amount of output you can out of your land. Now, essentially, depending on what type of land plot that you get and the element sites and the fuel sites that are on your land, you'll start to work to extract those elements and the fuel. The elements are required to basically continue building up different structures. Fuel sites are there for you to extract the kryptons, solons, and hyperions. Why they are so important is those three fuels are what powers the economy in Illuvium. Any sort of actions like traveling or curing of shards or crafting requires that fuel. And again, this is not a situation where someone can purchase it from a random pool or whatever. It is only generated through owning Illuvium land.
So this also brings to mind where they could use all these extra accessories that could be burnt in the game for your fuel. So say you're doing 100 kryptons an hour. Let's just throw it out there because I have no idea what it is. It's not on land yet. But let's say you're doing 100 kryptons an hour. Then you could throw a tier 0 accessory in there, say a clown nose, and then you get a 0.5% production boost for an hour. You throw a tier 1 in there, you get 0.1%. And then every tier you go up, make it 5% production boost. And then that's going to be burning your accessories from Illuvium Beyond, therefore bringing supply down once the 70 days are up, making it more rare. But then you could also use it to boost your production for your fuels and your stuff, or your travel time, whatever it is that you're going to be doing in the game. I need to look a little bit more into it. I hadn't seen too much on it, but that's where there's just unlimited potential for burning all these accessories, or even a alluvial to increase your production as well. And then you could use those resources to do all that other stuff, sell it, make more money, whatever.
And so that's why it's so important. We're approximating around about 5% of all in-game revenues will come, will stream back to landholders, which again, we're expected to have 5-10 million players. That's the demand on the other side for this fuel will be quite considerable if we can achieve those numbers. And yeah, being a landholder gives you that agency to go, okay, when do I want to sell the fuel into the pool?
So he just said 5% goes back to the landholders. So what this is going to do is really incentivize people that don't have time to play games, that just want to be investors and put your land out there and get that passive income of 5%. Because if they're going to hit those numbers of 5 to 10 million people, if the feel and the way this game is going, think of Fortnite right now, how massive that game is. And if they can achieve that, owning land is really going to just be amazing for extra income, or just to really take your game to the next level.
You have a choice of when you actually want to do that. And depending on when you do, might mean generating more revenue or more profit from that fuel, or less profit from that fuel, depending on the demand in the main game at the time. So it's a little bit fun. It makes it this real world economy. The land owners have agency over, how often they want to sell that fuel in, which makes it really exciting and dynamic in terms of the in-game pricing for Illuvium. And yeah, that's basically how the system works. In terms of the rails that we put this on to make sure that there isn't too much fluctuation in the in-game pricing, we've made it so that the maximum that it could fluctuate, let's call it, let's say a travel to a region is $10. The maximum it could fluctuate is 25% either way. And we do that because we don't want a situation where landowners are literally withholding selling fuel into the pool to a point where it's costing you, say, like $900 or $1,000 to travel just purely because there's no resource. That would be a little bit crazy. So we've limited it to a maximum of $12.50 or $7.50 either way.
That makes sense. So what's interesting about Illuvium Land is it's like an NFT that produces more NFTs. I know it's such crypto industry jargon, but it's true. The land itself is going to generate these fuel NFTs, and it's also these blueprint NFTs. And so that's sort of the revenue generating portion of land. And then that fuel can earn you revenue essentially if you choose to sell it on the Illuvidex. But there are, and we're going to talk more about this later, there are going to be price controls into place that make sure that fuel doesn't get crazy expensive, and because players need it. And if it's too expensive, then it'll break the entire economy. So that's already been taken into consideration here with how this is designed, which is really, really interesting. I wanted to quickly touch on the scanning for blueprints part, because that's something that you can scan for blueprints on tier 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 land. Can you give people an overview of what these blueprints actually are and what their value is? Obviously, you have a singularity scanner on your land. You're playing this in Illuvium 0. The scanner picks up biodata from alluvials that are actually passing through your land. Once you, let's say you do get one of these rare blueprint NFTs, why is that valuable and why is that interesting?
So blueprints are important because they're super rare. Now, what you can do with that blueprint is you can mint armor. So for example, if the alluvial that you pick up is a ramfire, right? It's gone past your land, the scanner's picked it up. You then research the biodata, you create that blueprint. That's going to be a ramfire based armor blueprint, right? So you will be the only person in the world that can create that piece of armor. Now, the cool thing about that is you get to set the price. It's whatever you want, right? You don't have to sell it to someone. You might be the only person who wants that, right? And so you go, I'm not going to give this to anyone else, so I can have that exclusivity. It's a cosmetic skin that you're bringing into the game. So it doesn't have any effect in terms of balancing, but it's a flex. It's like your Fortnite skins, except instead of the publisher, as in Fortnite, creating that skin and determining how many they create and all of that, it's literally down to the person who owns that blueprint, the owner of that land NFT, right? They decide what's the pricing. They decide how much supply am I going to create, if I'm going to create any at all. And then you also have the ability to say, okay, I've had this blueprint. I've been creating this specific armor for a while now. I've sold a few, and now actually I think it's time for me to let it go. And there'll be someone else out there, maybe someone who creates like blueprint factories, right? Who's literally out there to try and get as many blueprints as possible, because that's their business model, and they would be happy to purchase your blueprint. So you might then offload your blueprint and you'd be able to fetch a very, very high price for it, because now you're not just selling the piece of armor that you minted from having the blueprint, you're literally giving them the thing that can create an unlimited amount of this piece of armor.
So that
So that right there in itself is pretty amazing, and they kind of go into it covering about tier 1 to tier 5 land have all the same chance of getting these blueprints. That's going to be huge for whenever kingdoms start coming together, and say like right now mine would be Omi 24/7 or something along that lines, and that's what it is in another game I'm playing right now. So if we got in there and I was actually able to land a blueprint, everybody in my kingdom that would be in a hierarchy of level would be able to rock that avatar, and they would have the choice to sell it or not, and I would make a limited run of it and probably quit. But then there's people out there that if it is a super sought after one, like I said, you could be like Nike and Under Armour and just mass produce the crap out of it, sell it for $1. And well, if you're a super popular person in the Illuvium world, then a lot of people will probably buy it. And if they're going to have 5 to 10 million people and everybody buys one for $1, that's pretty good profit. So I'm definitely liking that. I like how they just give you the complete ownership to do what you want with it. So that's pretty amazing. That's very big. And if you can tell, a lot of things that these guys do, they think of it from a real world capitalistic standpoint, where if you put in the work and you do the time and research all this stuff and try to capitalize, you can make money, and this could be your full-time job.
That's what we're talking about. This is the NFT that helps you make more NFTs. So it gives you a blueprint so you can control the market, if you will, for skins. That's wild. It's almost like you're saying you're the developer and publisher almost in this case, where like you decide whether the market gets any of these skins. You could say zero or ever made.
You could say zero, yeah, you could.
Or you could just mint them and then sell them yourself. So it's like you're almost like able to set up shop here, like an Illuvium skins shop. That's so cool. I just wanted to emphasize that point. So it's not just playing Illuvium Zero on land, getting fuel, and maybe selling it on the Illuvidex for cash. These blueprints allow you to offer products essentially to the market if you choose these skins products, and they're ultra rare. So cool. I love that aspect of land. And that's
See, he says ultra rare, but I wonder what ultra rare is. Are we talking, out of all the land, are they doing 1 a week, 5 a week, 10 a week, 1 a day? What is ultra rare, and what that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest question for me is how often will these be given out? If you have higher tier land, do they do more for the higher tier, or is it completely across the board, just completely random on which land picks it up?
tier 1 through 5, guys. So even if you're getting tier 1 land, you have the potential to get these ultra rare blueprint NFTs.
Of course, you can build a singularity scanner on tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but there's no advantage. There's no benefit. There's no additional production that you can get from your scanner on a tier 5 plot versus a tier 1 plot. And that's really, really important for the smaller guys out there who can't afford a tier 2, 3, 4, and 5 plot. If you want to get into that game of creating blueprints and eventually a blueprint skin factory, as you're saying, then
I wonder how much a scanner is going to be, or is that something standard, or do you have to buy a scanner, and how much does that cost? Because you're talking about people on tier 1 not being able to afford higher tier land. Well, how much is a scanner going to cost, or is it just something that comes with it? So if you know, let me know in the comments, please.
You can do it by purchasing the tier 1 land, which I think is really good, and it includes a lot more people.
That's great. So that means that whales aren't the only ones that can participate in this sort of element of the economy. That folks that can really throw down for tier 4 and tier 5 land, folks that are just grabbing one little piece of tier 1 land, they can participate potentially in this, and maybe they could get lucky and get one of these rare blueprint NFTs, and maybe that could pay long-term dividends for them if they decide to work that. Or they could say, you know what, I don't want to bother with these blueprint NFTs. I'll just sell the blueprint, right? And then they can just give that business model to someone else. I love the fact that players have that autonomy, as opposed to just legacy gaming where whatever skins show up in the shop, you pay up, you don't own anything, and if you decide to uninstall, you're screwed. Like, it's totally different. It's just mind-blowing when you realize you become sort of the publisher almost of content in this case, where you're pocketing the financial benefit of these in-game skins. It's wildly interesting. I love that.
This is more for the larger land plot holders. It's for people that are time poor. They've got a lot of money to invest. They realize that gaining access to 5% of the in-game revenues in Illuvium is a very, very big thing. And it's an awesome investment, right, for someone. However, when you tell them, okay, sweet, you've convinced me, I'm going to drop $1 million on land, I think I'm going to be able to recuperate it, but that's going to cost you, 50 hours a day of actually maintaining these land plots. That's when it starts going, okay, well, how? I don't have time to do that. And so in comes this rental platform, which allows anyone to go on and say, you can lease out my land plot, you can accumulate all the fuel that you want. When they sell that, you've organized a profit split that can be customizable. It's whatever you want. It's again a negotiation between yourself and the person who's renting out your land. But the idea is, let's say the owner keeps 70% and the person who's leasing it keeps 30, or maybe it's 50-50. But either way, you've got one person who's making a passive income who doesn't need to do anything to manage this.
I can see that there being people coming together and starting their own businesses where they just outsource you going and harvesting all the land and turning a profit. You know, this goes back to people that just don't have time for video games, but our investors could see the potential in here, especially if it's going to be the next Fortnite style takeover, and a lot of money can be made there. So that's massive.
Land, and then you've got the people who are happy who don't have the necessarily the capital up front to go and spend 1-2 ETH on a land plot. They get access to it. They can slowly accumulate some revenue through selling fuel over time. And yes, they don't make as much as someone would if they owned it themselves, but maybe they build themselves up. They're still earning 50% or 30%.
Well, just like an Airbnb or just like a Verbo or just like, buying an income property, if you aren't living in it yourself, if you aren't using it yourself directly, and maybe you're using a management company or you're using a third-party platform to get more, to get some sort of income or yield out of it, you lose some profit or you lose some of the yield in the process, but you don't have to bother with it anymore, if you will. And somebody else is going to take care of that for you, but for a fee, if you will. So
Correct,
it's a similar concept. It's kind of like Airbnb for metaverse land almost. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so these guys are just thinking of absolutely everything, and that's one thing I love about it is like, how are you coming up with all this stuff, building 4 games, doing all this crazy stuff, and they've had 90,000 disc sales. At least that's what the number of disc is up to. That's $700,000 or whatever it is at this point, not including mega disc into that, but so I mean they're getting revenue from doing PFP projects. Just wait until the actual Illuvitars come out, and those sales start happening, and you can start upgrading and buffing them up. So it's going to be getting wild and crazy.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Kind of like that. Yeah. I love this concept. We're going to be releasing more details on this in the future. Things like mega cities and land rental the features are subject to change. And of course, our council needs to approve the details of these items. But I love that concept for people that are, like you're mentioning, that are time poor. I think some people just want to invest in this land as like just an investment. And maybe it's some big shot executive somewhere, right? Are they really going to spend 30 to 45 minutes per day, like pulling fuel off of their tier 4 land, or like, hold on a second, to their executive assistant? Come on. So I love this concept because it allows for all sorts of people that want to play the Illuvium Zero mobile game and people that just want to purely make an investment. You choose, right? It just gives choice to everybody on how they want to participate.
Yeah. And it's not a small thing. Like the fact of the matter is that right now, players play and earn games. They're mainly either scholars right now, or whatever word you want to use for people that are utilizing other people's assets, or they're investors, right? We don't have that pure gamers in here in the Web3 space yet.
See, that's one thing also that you're going to be able to do when you do these mega cities and you start combining all your land together. There's people that are investors, there's people that like playing games that are not very good at playing games, and then there's people that excel at playing games. So you could have your investors buying all the land, and then you have your people that suck at video games. They can be your harvesters. They can go around to all the lands in the kingdom doing what they need to do to harvest all the goods, while you've got your elite players that go out and do their elite thing and start whooping some butt. So, like I said, these dudes it's crazy where this is going.
And so, this rental program is specifically tailored to the exact audience that we have in our space right now. So it's absolutely critical. And yes, do I think we'll get players in the future that love city builder games that actually would like to sit there for 10 hours a day managing 20 different plots? Yes, I do. But for now, we need to cater to our audience. And as I said, that's big time investors and other people who can't necessarily afford to buy a plot up front. So this gives them the ability to play and earn without putting any upfront capital, which is pretty crazy.
I love it. It just gives folks in the market more choices on how they want to participate with land or not. I love that. Now, earlier on, you talked about fuel pricing and fuel controls and that sort of thing as relates to land. I want to go a little bit more into this so everybody can understand.
Okay, well, that was just a couple things I wanted to cover. I mainly wanted to open up my disc because I've been sitting on them for a couple days. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of this. I know not everybody's new like me. I'm still learning, so I figured I would share a few of these things with you guys. So let me know if you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll probably be trying to sell off a few things, see if I can scratch up a few more discs, try to pull that premium ILLUVIUM, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, until next time, we'll holla.